Good day everyone! Now I will discuss about lesson 4 and it is all about crimes in the modern world. First is the organized crime. It is a criminal activities which is committed by an group of organizations at may tinatawag tayo na mafias o mga syndicate which is tinatawag natin na Cosa Nostra. At next naman ay may tinatawag tayo na sources of illegal profit. Ito yung mga dahil sa mga sindikato, ito yung mga nakukuha nilang or nagigain na foods and services. And this is the work of organization. Meron tayong tatlo. Una dito ang an enforcer, corruptor, and corruptee. At una na nga dito ang an enforcer which is sila yung directly na involved sa isang krimen. At next naman is the corruptor. Pag sinabi natin na corruptor, sila yung nakikipag-negotiate at nagbabayad upang maisakatuparan ang isang organized crime. And last is the corruptee. Pag sinabi natin na corruptee, sila yung tumatanggap ng bayad mula sa corruptor which is mga public officers na hindi sila member. Which is hindi sila member o membro ng isang organisasyon. And we have characteristics of organized crime. Unang-una na dito yung mayroon silang magandang komunikasyon ang bawat membro o kasapi ng isang organisasyon. Next is ang purpose nila is economic aim. So economic gain can achieve through illegal means. So and organized crime does not include the terrorists. So ang pagkakaiba ng organized crime at ang terrorist ay nakatuon sa political change while the organized crime focuses on gaining economic. And we have generic types of organized crime. Unang-una na dito ang political graft. So pag sinabi natin na political graft, ay sila yung mga political criminals who is gumagamit ng force and violence to obtain profit and to achieve political aims. And next naman is the mercenary or predatory organized crime. So it is a crimes committed by a group which is the personal profit is the reason kung bakit sila nakakagawa ng organized crime. Next naman is the in-group oriented organized crime which is the psychological gratification. Ito yung mga pagkakatuwaan ng mga gangs. And last is the syndicated crime which is ito yung mga kagagawa ng mga sindikato. Ito yung krimen na kagagawa ng mga sindikato na ginagamitan ng force and threat o pagbabanta. And next is the professional crimes and white collar crimes. Pag sinabi natin na professional crimes, ito yung mga skilled people or skilled criminal which is bihasang-bihasa na sa paggawa ng krimen. Next naman is the white collar crimes which is about sa trabaho or status. Sila yung nasa mga high status which is nakakagawa ng krimen. And we have forms of white collar crimes. Unang-una na dito ang corporate crimes, next is the environmental crimes, and last is the occupational crimes. At unang-una na nga dito ang corporate crimes, which is crimes of ng mga employees and agents. Next is the environmental crimes, which is ito yung mga crimes na labag sa environmental laws. And last is the occupational crimes which is ito yung mga krimen na nalalabag, crimes of nasa mga high status which is aligned sa kanyang occupation o trabaho. And we have 4 areas of reforms. The ethical reforms, enforcement reforms, structural reforms, and last is the political reforms. So una na nga dito ang ethical reforms which is the working to establish stringent and more persuasive codes of business ethics. So next naman is the enforcement reforms, which is the better funding for enforcement. And next is the structural reforms, which is have basic change in corporate structure. And last is the political reforms. Ito yung mga reformang pampolitiko, which is eliminating campaigns contributions. And meron nga tayong conventional crimes and violent crimes. So pag sinabi natin na conventional crimes, it is a group of crimes which is characterized as violent crimes and property crimes. So pag sinabi naman natin na violent crimes, it is a criminal act which is ginagamitan ng threat o pagbabanta at pamimisikal ng offender o criminal sa isang victim. And we have violent acts in the form of interpersonal violence, political violence, and last is the collective violence. At first naman ay ang interpersonal violence, which is under dito na mga examples ay physical violence, robbery, rape, and also the murder. Next is the political violence, which is best example nito ay ang terrorism. And last, the collective violence, which is about sa mga riots and mga urban violence. And next naman ay property crimes. So this act in the form of occasional property crimes, conventional property crimes, and last is the destructive property crimes. At first property crime ay ang occasional property crimes, which is best example nito yung theft, shoplifting, and vandalism. Next naman is the conventional property crimes. Under nito yung burglary, fence, and theft. And last is the destructive property crimes, which is under nito yung arson o panununog. At next naman is the murder, which is the unlawful killing of human being. So may tatlo itong forms. Unang-una na dito ang serial murder, mass murder, and space murder. So pag sinabi naman natin na serial murder, it is a series of crimes. Ito yung uri ng pagpatay ng biktima sa after ay weeks and months in different location. And next naman is the mass murder, which is a killing of 4 people or victims or more in one location. And last is the space murder, which is killing of victims with 2 or in 2 or more locations, and no time break between murders. And next naman is the homicide and assault. So pag sinabi natin na homicide, it is an unlawful killing without the qualifying circumstances. Next naman is the assault. So pag sinabi natin na assault, it is an unlawful attack and it result physical injuries. And we have kinds of robbery. So first is a robbery of a person or in a person, which is example nito yung hold up cases. Next is the robbery in open places. At best example nito yung snatching cases. Next is the robbery in private premises. And example nito yung forcible entry. And we have 5 types of robbers. First is the professional robbers, the opportunist robbers, the addict robbers, alcoholic robbers, and the muggers. So una na nga ang professional robbers. So pag sinabi natin na professional robbers, ang pagnanakaw ay napakagaling na nila na magnakaw at ito na ang pangunahin nilang trabaho. Next naman is the opportunist. Pag sinabi natin na the opportunist, nagkaroon na hindi nila intensyon na magnakaw o sila yung mga robber offender, robbery offender at hindi nila intensyon na magnakaw, nagkaroon lamang ng oportunidad, dala ng pangangailangan, kaya sila ay nakapagnakaw. Next is the addict, addict robber. So pag sinabi nating addict robbers, sila yung nagnanakaw para masuportahan yung kanilang habit o pag-addict. Sinabi naman natin na alcoholic robbers, sila ay parang ganun sa addict, which is nagnanakaw sila para masuportahan yung kanilang habit na pag-iinom. And last is the muggers. Ito yung tinaguri ang mga semi-professional robbers, which is sila yung mga most feared robbers dahil sa sila yung mga armado dahil sa takot. So ngayon ay dadako naman tayo sa rape crime. So pag sinabi natin na rape, it is a violent crime which is nangyayari sa mga kababaihan against her will. At it's characterized by violence, aggression, and domination. So there are categories of rape, the real rape and simple rape. So pag sinabi natin na real rape, so involved dito yung violence and may weapons yung criminal. Next naman is simple rape. Pag sinabi natin simple, siya makakategorize as real rape dahil walang bakas o hindi natin makikita na physical na nagresulta ng violence ang isang kriminal. Pag sinabi naman natin ng mga negative effects or negative psychological effects sa mga biktima o sa mga kababaihan, ay tinatawag natin itong rape trauma syndrome. And next naman is the family violence, and under nito yung child abuse and spouse abuse. And we have types of violent offenders. So we have culturally violent offenders, criminally violent offenders, pathological violent offenders, and last is the situational violent offenders. At una na nga ang culturally violent crime, which is nangyayari ito sa mga cultures. Mayroong nangyayaring violent crime sa cultures. And next naman is the criminally violent crimes. So pag sinabi natin na criminally violent crime, gumagamit ng violence upang makisakatuparan ang isang krimen. And next is the pathological violent crime, which is nakakagawa ang tao ng violence dahil sa kanyang mental disturbances. And last is the situational violent crime, or tinatawag din ito na crime by passion. And we have types of auto theft. So unang-una dyan yung joyriding auto theft. So pag sinabi natin joyriding auto theft, ito yung borrowing of automobiles without returning, hindi na binabalik. Next naman is the short-term transportation. Stolen vehicle as a temporary means of transportation, then abandoned, nasisira na. Next naman is the long-term transportation. Stolen vehicle used as permanent means of transportation, hindi na binabalik din. The profit-motivated auto theft, it is organized auto theft, which includes a vehicle identity alteration or the chop-chops na sinasabi. At dumako naman tayo sa types of vandalism. So first is the wanton vandalism. Pag sinabi natin na wanton vandalism, it is a destructive acts which is have no monetary gain or purpose in mind. Next naman is the predatory vandalism. No? Pag sinabi natin na predatory vandalism, it is also destructive acts of gain, such as destroying machines in order to gain contents. Next is vindictive vandalism. It is an act as an expression of hatred. And we have victimless crimes. So pag sinabi natin na victimless crimes, it refers to those crimes in which no clear is really identifiable. So the only injured party is the offender who engages in destructive behavior. So the victimless crimes include prostitution. So pag nasabi natin prostitution, ito yung nagbebenta ng katawan. It is the practice of having sexual relations with the emotional indifference on a promiscuous and mercenary basis. And next naman is the pornography. So pag sinabi natin na pornography, it's an material intended primarily to arouse sexual desires pertaining to obscene. At ito ay kalimitan na maano natin sa media, televisions, and social medias, and other internet platforms. Next naman is the drug addiction. So, drug addiction is the state of mind in which a person has lost a power of self-control in respect of a drug characteristic of drug addiction. So, dahil sa, example nito is yung mga shabu, ecstasy, and other drugs, bad drugs. Next naman is what is the tolerance? Tolerance is the tendency to increase the dose of the drug to produce the same effect as to that of the original effect. So the addiction, sinabi tayong addiction is powerless to quit drug abuse. So the physical dependence, the addict's psychological functioning is altered. So sa psychological dependence naman is the emotional and mental discomfort exists to an individual. So meron din tayong withdrawal syndrome, which is the addict becomes nervous and restless when he does not get. And next is the alcoholism, o ito yung pag-iinom. So the term refers to a person or the person's behavior with life problem related sa pag-iinom. The effects of alcoholism. First is the trouble in the home. So a heavy drinker takes money needed for food, clothes, and furniture. So this causes debts. Husband and wife fight and accuse each other of being unlawful. There will be often sexual problems. Children are badly treated and badly fed. And drinking makes people lazy and they may not go to work. Women may have to steal food to feed their families. Next naman is the trouble among friends. The heavy drinker will often fight with his friend and may kill many people. And next is trouble at work. So alam naman natin kapag nakainom ay maaaring wala siya sa kanyang sarili, kaya hindi niya magagampanan ang kanyang tukulin sa kanyang trabaho. Next is trouble at play. So heavy drinkers has a bad effect on sportsmen. Unang-una dyan ay baka unang-una dyan ay hindi pwede sa paglalaro ang may inom o nakainom ng alak, which is hindi ka makakapasok sa isang field kapag ikaw ay naamoy o at nalaman na ikay umiinom ng alak. And next is the trouble with crime. So excessive drinking is the biggest cause of crime. People become aggressive, fight, break into the houses, and steal. So next is the trouble with the economy. So the economy is badly affected when people do not go to work and production falls. Heavy demands are made on health services, the people force, and correctional institutions. So alcoholism is burden to the government. So gambling is usually defined as wagering or events which chance largely determines the outcomes. So alam naman natin ang gambling o pagsusugal ay isang illegal na gawain. At doon nagtatapos ang buong lesson 4, which is all about crimes in the modern world.